All right, all right, all right. We little time off. The Ryan and Jacob Show is live again with the Week 7 recap. We skipped over the Week 6 recap and did a little Q&A last week, so hope everyone enjoyed that. But this week we are back to the recap of Week 7, where you blew me out. So I'm sure you're feeling pretty good about that.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling great about that. 115-77, though it was expected because of your bye weeks, but it's still nice to get the official win in the standing. So my team had a good week, except Will Fuller. He got hurt in the first play of the game, I think. Kenny Galladay didn't really have a good day, but a lot of people. Darren Waller finally found the end zone twice. It was a good week.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like every time I looked at something, one of your guys was either catching a ball or scoring a touchdown. So, yeah, like you said, though, I think I had more bye week players on my bench than the entire league combined. So, it was definitely expected that I was going to have at least a tough go at things this week. And my fill-in players definitely did not perform where I wanted them to. But like I said, I kind of planned to have a loss this week, but the worst bye week's over, and we're looking ahead.
Yeah, it's a good thing for you now. You can just kind of focus. I think Russell Wilson's probably the only person you have left on a bye. That's top tier. I don't know if you'd call Melvin Gordon top tier yet, but
Yeah,
Russell Wilson would be the
Keenan
one guy.
Allen top tier.
He's been struggling this past couple weeks too, so
Let's talk about how you say tire instead of tier.
tire.
Tire's
You know
T-I-R-E.
You know what I
Tier's
was talking about.
T-I-E-R. Yeah, but you said it like a goob. But anyway, I think Keenan Allen's top tier. I know he's had a few down weeks and another one versus you, but I mean, he's got the ability to explode pretty much any week. And yeah, the two of the top running back and the top receiver I had on the bench on a bye. So I mean, the Old Town Toes are looking to go undefeated the rest of the season, and I think we have a decent shot.
And one thing I like to point out though is I thought I was going to really struggle when Melvin Gordon came back because I have Austin Eckler and I have basically no running backs to replace him. But he's doing well with Melvin Gordon, so I'm glad that he's lining up in that slot receiver sometimes, and that's taking some carries away from Melvin. So Eckler, keep doing your thing. That's one of the reasons why I have a very good team, is because of my running backs with Jones and Eckler have been pretty good this year.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough with this massacre. Let's move over here to Mr. 0-7, Rudy, taking yet another loss to Chris, who I was really hoping Rudy was going to get the win this week. I didn't expect it, but I was hoping for it because Chris is in my division and he's up there near second place. But Rudy, just another brutal week. Kerryon Johnson did get hurt. Patrick Mahomes did get hurt. So I think possibly without those injuries, Rudy has much better shot here. But
I think he wins.
Yeah, he very well may have. And it's unfortunate that those injuries happened and things went the way they did.
Yeah, because I picked Rudy for the mini game just because I thought, he had a good matchup, but I mean, Mahomes would have got 15 more maybe, and then Kerryon maybe another 5. He would have won. So yeah, Rudy had another unlucky week, but Chris, I think only about 2 people performed. With Jacoby Brissett got the AFC Player of the Week, and Saquon Barkley, and that was about it.
Yeah, some pretty rough scores. I know the Bears' defense was very lackluster. They've kind of had a couple down weeks. I, as a fan, really hope that kind of picks up a little bit. But yeah, some brutal performances on Chris's side and Rudy's side both. I mean, this game truly could have gone either way, especially like I said without those injuries. That's a heartbreaker for Rudy, but you know what? It happens. It's fantasy football.
Yeah, and we'll talk about probably the trades more towards the end of the podcast. But Adam Thielen went down with a pretty serious hamstring injury. I don't know when that is going to be healed. So another injury for Chris's team. He had Saquon out for a couple weeks. So kind of injury riddled team right now. Chris is still 4-3, but we'll see how he does here on out. But we can go to the next game, which is Johnny and Joey, and we won't spend too much time on this because Johnny doubled Joey's score.
Yeah, that was a slaughter over here.
Another low-scoring game. Matt Ryan got hurt. But, I mean, Johnny's team showed out how they've been doing pretty consistently nowadays. And he's going to get Drew Brees back, but I don't know if he's going to start him every week with Dak performing. But that'll be an interesting quarterback tandem.
Yeah, and I mean, Johnny put up that score, and he still had Marvin Jones down there on the bench with his 4 touchdowns, 33 fantasy points. I mean, he could have had a lot more here. But yeah, Johnny's team's looking good. He was kind of my sleeper pick to make the playoffs, and it looks like that's trending in the same direction that I was thinking. But also to your point, I mean, Matt Ryan did get hurt. He played the third string running back for Detroit, which actually ended up paying off with Kerryon Johnson going down. J.D. McKissick did get 6 fantasy points, but I mean, there's just some rough scores over here for Joey. Larry Fitz with 1, Texans with 1.
That was shocking that he played JD. I don't even know why he did. I mean, Nick Chubb was on a bye, but
right. But, I mean, yeah, and I think Wayne Gallman was injured, and Darrell Henderson, Todd Gurley came back this week. So I mean, when you look at it, I don't know what the waivers look like, but I mean, he really didn't have a whole lot of options here.
That's just funny how it worked out.
Yeah, it ends up putting up not a great score, but for a third string running back, pretty modest score, especially with Kerryon Johnson going into that game healthy. That was just a funny thing to see. But yeah, another great week from Johnny. He's looking scary.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Chubb was on a bye. Josh Gordon just got out for the year. So Joey's team is looking kind of injured down there too. And Matt Ryan right now with the injury. So it'll be interesting to see. He was my sleeper, but not looking too great. He is 3-4, so not too bad. He does play me next week, so that's going to be a tough matchup for him. I guess we'll just see how his team kind of fizzles out, see if he can pick it up a little bit. We can go to the next game, which was a pretty close game, actually, with Lubasi and Chewy. Lubasi with a -1 on a Thursday game, not the way you want to start, but he pulled out the W.
Yeah, some pretty great scores from his top 2 guys, Jared Goff and Zeke Elliott. Another good week from Tyreek Hill coming back off injury. Stephon Diggs finally putting up some points for him. I know he's got to be happy about that, especially after he had him on the bench the week before versus you, and he had 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and a buku amount of yards. So I'm sure he's happy to see Stephon stepping it up. And that another good defensive play. I mean, he had an even better one on the bench, but still didn't go wrong there. So he comes out.
Yeah, I don't think if I was Lubasi, I'd get too cute. Patriots D is looking pretty much unstoppable, but you try to get cute with that. I mean, it's still 13. He still won, but if you're trying to get most points in a single season, you kind of just want to. Those pay off a little bit. You don't just playing those right guys here and there. But I mean, going to Chewy's team, David Johnson got hurt, or I don't even think he got hurt. I was reading that David Johnson was just in there for the emergency situations. Got 1 carry in the first 2 minutes, and then didn't play the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast this morning. They said that he went out there, got that first carry of the game, and just kind of decided the ankle wasn't where he wanted it to be. So, yeah, they just kind of used him as a worst-case scenario. We'll have you here, but we're gonna go ahead and run with Chase Edmonds, and he showed out. So
He
David
did.
Johnson was just not needed.
But I mean, Dalvin Cook showed out again. He's probably the best, probably the number one running back, I guess, or at least two. Yeah, number two running back. Deshaun Watson. Not a great game, but not a bad game.
Yeah,
I don't know. Chewy's team's weird.
it's. I mean, I don't know. I play him this week, so he's probably gonna put up about 140. But yeah, he's. I mean, he's got some. I mean, Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, great players. But yeah, I mean, it's not a team that makes you worried if they continue to perform like this.
Yeah, I'm David Montgomery with a negative .1. That's pretty bad. I always in the first couple of weeks I tried to get David Montgomery so bad for Kenny Galladay, and I'm kind of glad that Chewy did not want to do that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Lubasi with a win. He's 4-3. That division is full of 4-3s. But we can go to the next game, which was the closest game. James and Dom, both 4-3 teams now.
This one was
But
a nail biter.
Tom Brady only needed 11.4, and he got 12.
Yeah. I know James was probably watching that game on the edge of his seat, maybe sweating a little bit. Especially when he had Chase Edmonds, who we just talked about, David Johnson. He had Chase Edmonds down here on the bench with 33. He could have had this thing in the bag easy. And kind of trending towards my direction here. Got a 0 from the tight end spot. I feel you there, brother, because that's happened to me about 3 times this year. I know that Will Dissly injury made Luke Wilson hot target, but yeah, I might need to look in another direction next week.
Yeah, he's got Ebron on the bench, so not too bad of a play there for his tight end. I think he just thought Dissly was the number one tight end. Luke Wilson would kind of mirror that at least a little bit, but just didn't pan out for him.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
mean, Chris got Kirk Cousins on the bench, which would have been a better play because he got 30 and Wentz did not.
That's dumb.
Yeah, Dom. Freeman got ejected like in the third quarter for punching Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that was pretty
So-
crazy.
So without that punch, I bet Freeman would have got at least another point, so he would have won. I mean, Dom just had some bad luck there, which I don't mind because Dom's in my division, and that just helped my lead a little bit more there. But it was a
Right.
heartbreaker for Dom this week.
Yeah, and I mean, Kamara was out. He had a great performance from Latavius Murray with the handcuff play. But yeah, some unfortunate series of events leads to Dom losing by 0.6, which is just a gut-wrenching loss. And also another thing I wanted to point out is it will be interesting to see what Emmanuel Sanders does on the 49ers.
Who has him?
James.
Oh, James. Yeah, he played him in the flex. Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting. Garoppolo hasn't looked that great, though. I mean, that defense is kind of carrying him. But we'll see if Garoppolo just needed a kind of a better wide receiver out there. That should be you're right. That should be an interesting play there. But going to the next game, another game that we really don't have to spend too much time on, which is Matt and Jimmy. Again, Matt beat him by double Jimmy score.
Yeah. An
Just not a
absolutely
great-
terrible week from Jimmy.
Just not great.
And I know he's pissed, or gotta be pissed, with a 7 from his QB that he played, Kyler Murray, with Aaron Rodgers down there on the bench with a 43. I mean, that is just... He was torching that Raiders defense.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped. He still would have lost, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean-
But he would have put up a much more respectable score.
yeah, Aaron Rodgers got more than his whole team.
Yeah, I think going into Monday night, he had 20-some points. And, I mean, thankfully,
Sony
Sony Michel got a couple touchdowns because his score was looking unbelievable, almost like he intentionally lost. And yet
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
still 5-2, leading my division.
yeah, I mean, if you look at Damian Williams, Mohamed Sanu, and the Packers D, they combined for negative points. That's 3 out of your 9 starters combining for negative points.
Yeah,
That's just sad. So sorry, Jimmy. Maybe next week get a little better score. But going to Matt's team,
that's
I
some
mean, they
good
showed
advice.
out. They showed out this week. DeAndre Hopkins finally showed his first round worthiness, probably the first time this year.
Yeah,
So that was good to see. Well, the first week he got 23, but the rest were single digits except this week. Just all double digits except Evan Ingram and Philip Lindsay. Well, I guess Cortland's not in too, but the
yeah,
double
he definitely
digits he
definitely
did
had a good
have
week.
were high.
Yeah, and kind of back to the NFL trade thing. Jimmy does have Mohamed Sanu, who just got traded to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be pretty interesting to see too. We'll see if that can send Jimmy's team in the right direction. I mean, the guy's 5-2, and as low scoring as he's been this year, the crazy thing is, if his team even just hits one spark or stride or anything, like he could easily wrap up this division. I mean, who knows? Who knows? These scores have
Yeah,
been embarrassing, but who knows?
Yeah, so Matt moves to 3-4. Jimmy moves to 5-2. But we can look ahead kind of to next week, just kind of quickly see what the games on the slate are. Let's go to scoreboard here. So we can go first is Joey and I have a matchup, like I said earlier. Right now I'm projected to beat him by 13. And Matt Ryan's projected 20 points and playing, but that'll be interesting to see because I don't think who's his. Does he have a quarterback on the bench?
Teddy Bridgewater.
I think he just picked up Bridgewater. But I think I'm pretty comfortable with this matchup. Got Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson's on a bye. Matthew Stafford's playing a weak Giants D. I think I'm pretty comfortable with the dub here, but it should be an all right game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a runaway. It'll certainly be pretty dependent on whether Matt Ryan plays, Jared Cook plays. I mean, he's got Kyle Rudolph down there on the bench, but I mean, I don't have a lot of room to talk about tight ends, but that's neither of those are really strong plays. But
yeah, Rudolph plays on Thursday, so if Jared Cook gets out on a Saturday, then he's kind of screwed there.
yeah, so that'll be a tough decision for him moving forward. But yeah, I don't know. If your team can keep it up, you'll probably take this dub. But I mean, if you're not putting up these crazy numbers that you have been, then I think Joey has a shot here. And I hope he wins. I hope you lose. So that's that.
All right, we'll see Ryan and Chewy's team or game. Ryan's projected right now to win by 0.4.
0.4 points.
Got a couple Qs in his lineup right now. It'll be interesting to see what Josh Jacobs and OJ Howard do.
Yeah, not super stoked about these Qs. Josh Jacobs, my second best running back, and then OJ Howard is my only tight end, aside from Jonnu Smith, who I just picked up today. So, been struggling with that tight end spot all year. Chewy got a great pickup on the waivers with Ty Johnson to take Kerryon Johnson's spot. I'm not feeling super confident going into this week, but I definitely think as long as my team can perform the way I know they are capable of, I should be able to get this dub.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this tomorrow's game is going to be very crucial for Chewy. I think he has to have at least 30 points going in after tomorrow with Dalvin and Vikings D playing a very weak Redskins team. So big game for Chewy tomorrow, and big game for you, like both of you for this week. It's if Chewy loses, he's basically, out. I would say. And then with you, if you lose, it'd be still a long way to climb.
Yeah, I am not happy. But
All right, so we'll go to the next game. Chris and Johnny. Chris, like I said later, we're going to be talking about the trades that he has done so far. But right now he's got his old team, so really don't need to talk too much about his team. But we got Johnny to the right, who has Drew Brees in there.
He does have Drew Brees, who's questionable this week.
He's questionable and not a projection, so maybe Johnny knows. Maybe Drew Brees called Johnny earlier in the week and said he was going to play.
Well, he might have. I don't know. Said that he
really
practiced this week.
Yeah, on a limited basis. I was just reading the recent news. Yeah, it'd be interesting because Joey's got Teddy Bridgewater on the bench, and if Matt Ryan doesn't play, he's going to have to pick somebody else up. So that's interesting if Brees does play. I'd rather have Brees play with Michael Thomas as a receiver.
I mean, if he doesn't, Johnny's going to have to pick up another QB because he's got Dak on a bye, which is probably why he put Drew Brees in there in the first place.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So, yeah, that would be interesting to see how these injuries play out. But right now, Chris is projected more, and I think that'll probably stay until Johnny figures out his QB situation.
Yeah, I think this could be a pretty close game,
though. Going to the next game, we got Lubasi and James. Huge. If we kept doing a kind of fizzled out of the game of the week thing, but this would probably be the game of the week if we kept doing that. I mean, 2, 4, and 3, same divisions. This is a huge game.
Well, all I know is one of them's going to lose, and I need that to happen. So, James is projected to win by double digits here. I think that's very possible. Lubasi's running back situation is pretty weak, and
without Zeke this week.
He's a very stingy trader, so not sure that's going to get improved anytime soon. But then James over here, he's got James Conner, questionable. So that'll be a big storyline heading into this game. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But I think this one could be close. But I'm hoping that, I guess I don't really care who wins because this is my division. So someone's going to be 4-4.
Have you played both of them?
I have not played James yet, but I did play Lubasi, and I did beat him badly.
So you probably want to play, or you probably want James to win, just so you can like control your own destiny. With if you need to beat James, you can beat James. Whereas if Lubasi wins, it's kind of you're depending on somebody else to beat Lubasi. But just one thing I wanted to point out with Lubasi's team, Zeke is on a bye, and Tyreek Hill. You don't know how that Patrick Mahomes injury is going to affect these Kansas City wide receivers and tight ends. So that's a big storyline for Lubasi. I know he's probably not happy about the Mahomes injury, but kind of makes his team a little weaker, I think.
And Stephon Diggs with no Adam Thielen might be getting doubled up. So, yeah, I don't know. I think James has a pretty good shot this week.
Yeah, and right now Lubasi's again trying to be cute with his defense with the Colts D right there, but Patriots play the Browns. I think the Patriots are the move there.
Don't tell him that.
Just don't want to get cute with how good the Patriots D is right now. So, I mean, it's his decision, but he's just, I don't know about that one. But we can go to the next game. Dom and Jimmy. Again, Jimmy's team is going to look a little bit different once these trades officially go through.
No more Travis Kelce, the double tight end play.
Yep, but he has got Aaron Rodgers, who is questionable. Didn't know that. That might be a little worrisome.
Devontae Adams questionable. See if he comes back this week. He's got quite a few injuries down here on the bench.
Yeah, a lot of red for Jimmy. Man, the Chargers D against the Bears. It's not too bad of a play, but then we got Dom. Dom's team is looking all right. Got projected 97. Playing Kirk Cousins finally after those 2 really good weeks in a row.
Yeah,
so he's plays a pretty weak.
Carson Wentz versus a tough Buffalo D down there, so
yeah, easy decision. Play.
But yeah, I think even after the trade shakes out, Jimmy's team is still not going to be able to. I just don't think he's going to be able to match this one. I think Dom's going to take this. Obviously, I mean, it'll be big to see these injuries on each team play out. Kamara questionable again, but even if he doesn't play, he's got Latavius down there on the bench. So I think Dom's going to take this one, and I hope he does, because got to get Jimmy knocked down off the top of that division.
All right, then we'll go to the last game quickly here with Matt versus Rudy. Rudy
looking for that
Rudy's
first
team
win.
got weaker. He got weaker without Mahomes, so his first win might be a little tough, but
And Kerryon Johnson just went on IR.
yeah, not the best year for Rudy. If you guys see Rudy out there, maybe give him a little hug. It's just not been a good year for Rudy.
It's just one thing after another. Man, yeah. AJ Green's still not coming back.
Yep.
A lot of injuries here. He's holding on to 2 people that are on the IR right now. So I don't know if he's just doesn't get on anymore or what the deal with that is, but yeah, I think Matt's got a pretty good shot here. I don't see this upset coming to fruition, but you know what?
No, I don't think
I think
so
we're all
either.
rooting for Rudy, man.
I'm rooting for Rudy.
Get that first win, my dog. I think we would all go nuts if it happened.
All right, so that takes us to towards the end of the podcast. We just kind of want to go through these trades that we're looking at. Let's get to the transaction. No, that's not what I want to go to. I want to go to recent activity. So we got a couple of big trades that Chris was involved in. The first one that we kind of talked about and it's kind of been posted on the Facebook page is where's this trade at?
Chris and Johnny, Allen Robinson for Tyler Boyd.
Yes, there it is. So I mean, I think Chris gets the better end of the deal. I think Tyler Boyd's a little more higher upside. He could maybe do better than Allen Robinson. But I was looking at when they were drafted, and Tyler Boyd was like the 48th pick, while Allen Robinson was the 54th pick. So I thought that was a very fair trade, and I just liked Chris's side a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Allen Robinson is the better player there, but obviously Johnny sees something in Tyler Boyd that he likes. It will be something to keep an eye on when AJ Green comes back, if he comes back, to see how that affects Tyler Boyd. But it could play out in his favor. So, and the Bears' offense does not look great. So I mean,
Not at all.
By the end of the year, we could be saying this was Johnny's win here on this trade, but I have to tend to agree with you as of right now. I think Allen Robinson is the better play, but still a very close trade.
And so we got the last trade that just actually went down today, 4:27 p.m. to be exact. And this was a little bit more of the lopsided trade, I would say, with Chris getting Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, and Chris trading Marquise Brown and Jamal Williams to Jimmy for Travis Kelce and Kyler Murray. On the surface, this looks like a very lopsided trade where Chris kind of fleeced Jimmy, but I don't know. We talked to Jimmy a little bit, and he does have depth issues. He needs a running back, and he has 2 tight ends that he plays every week, so he has the tight end capital to make this trade. So I think Chris definitely wins the trade, but I don't think it's that bad of a trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we talked to Jimmy about it, or you kind of talked to him, but I saw the conversation. I read his reasoning because I was going to veto this trade, but I read his reasoning. At the end of the day, I think he is making Chris's team a lot better here, more so than his, but I do understand the move. But if people do feel inclined to veto, I would understand that as well. So, I mean, whether it goes through or not, I see both sides of this thing. And I think it does benefit Jimmy as well. Like I said, I think it does benefit Chris a lot more, but I think there is some positive benefits coming Jimmy's way with this as well. And I mean, with fantasy football, you just never know. A lopsided trade could turn completely opposite of what you think at the beginning of it. So
Yeah, that's what I was saying, like to Jimmy and Chris, because we were kind of talking about how this trade might be vetoed by other people. But I mean, trading is just you have your own perspective on other players, and we all have football knowledge. Like, it's not like somebody is really stupid at football and we're just trade raping this guy.
right.
I mean, Jimmy knows his stuff. Chris knows his stuff. Jimmy just sees something within Hollywood Brown and Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has looked good with sharing carries with Aaron Jones, and Hollywood Brown's coming back from an ankle injury, but he should be all right. I mean, he does have Deshaun Jackson coming back from a pretty long injury, so he's going to have like depth there. But I think really what the trade is for is that running back with Jamal Williams, because he's really weak at that running back after Sony Michel, who hasn't even been that great. So not a bad trade. I think he could have maybe got a little bit more, but I mean, I think it's an okay trade.
Yeah, I don't think it's just a total lopsided trade raping, but I think it, like I said, I mean, I just went over it all, but I think it did work out in Chris's favor. But at the end of the day, I think it benefits Jimmy too. So we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out if it goes through. I think it probably will. I don't think too many people are going to have an issue with it. But yeah, our first two trades of the season.
Yeah, I think the deadline's here pretty soon. I think in a couple of weeks. But if you guys do look at like the recent activities on your phone or laptop, I did change the set votes required to veto trade to 6 because it was at 4, and that's based off a 10-man league. So I never changed that. So I did it for 6, which is over 50%. So if 2 people trade, then 10, so it'd be over 50 to have somebody veto the trade. And really, what the veto is like if Rudy would trade Patrick Mahomes to me for Will Fuller, like that's like blatantly cheating on his end and my end. But I feel like this trade benefits both, maybe more so Chris, like we said. But it was I think just on the surface it just doesn't look like a good trade. But I feel like if you look at the nitty gritty, it will benefit Jimmy.
Yeah, I agree.
But just going through, nothing really, like Ryan said, Ty Johnson was the big pickup this week with Carry-On out. Chewy nabbed him, which I'm kind of glad Chewy got him. I think, he was second on the waiver. I really think Rudy's kind of done. I think he's kind of thrown in the towel, or else he would have got Ty. But
yeah,
Chewy still has a shot for these playoffs, I think, if he can win out.
Yeah, and kind of speaking of Rudy, still got a shot at that mini game. We did post the scores you posted the scores on the Facebook page this week to see that I am currently in the lead of that, which is fantastic since my regular team has been so disappointing. But Rudy, you still got a shot at the mini game, so I wouldn't give up on that with your team looking kind of a little dookie.
Yeah, that's $75 to the winner. I posted the payouts again just so we could all have like a hard copy just to remind us. But I think that wraps up this podcast. Week 8 will be a fun one. We're only 6 more weeks until the playoffs start, so not a lot of time for these 2-5, 3-4 teams to get back in the playoffs. But they still have a shot. They just got to win, and win.
Watch your mouth on the 3 and 4 guys, but yeah, the 2 and 5 guys, you guys should be nervous, but us 3 and 4 guys, we're gonna be okay.
All right, guys, have a great week.